This is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. I know you can do it. I know you can prep for yourself and for your family. I believe in you. Crisis strikes, you need to reach down and check to see if you got the big boy or big girl underwear on, because you know what, you're going to have to be an adult and you're going to have to step up to the plate because you've got people depending on you.
Hello Preppers, James Smith, the Covert Prepper with the Covert Prepper Show. All information provided is for entertainment purposes or for post-apocalyptic uses, so don't use it to break the law. And tonight we won't really have to worry about breaking the law. It's kind of a mishmash of a few things. One that's been really popular on the news website, and I'll get to that in just a jiffy. I'm a former U.S. Navy enlisted sailor and former corrections officer for medium and minimum security inmates, and little did I know once I left corrections I would still be in corrections. I am surprised by the number of criminals out there. They all have like a D or an R after their name. So this is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. This is where you learn and probably expand upon what you already thought on how to deal with a post-apocalyptic setting given the materials that you have in front of you and how to keep it covert. It's your stuff. I don't want it. I shouldn't want it because I have my stuff. I don't want you taking my stuff. I don't want to take your stuff, and I don't want to see somebody take away your stuff. Let's keep it safe. You can reach me at james@thecovertprepper.com. That's TheCovertPrepper.com. And the YouTube channel is The Covert Prepper, which I haven't done any in a while. The Twitter name is @CovertPrepper. And let's see, that's it. All right, so you can listen to the live feed by calling area code 786-837-2278 24/7 on your regular phone line. It really helps if you have unlimited long distance. Now let's get into my mishmash here. Okay, BG took Calm to the store. Then we had to get a new microwave. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's killing the food. Well, the food was dead to start with. All right, we are no longer on Blog Talk Radio. The Prepper Podcast Radio Network has left the Blog Talk Radio. Now, that does not mean you cannot find old shows on Blog Talk Radio, and you can find a lot of them. There's like 1,000. I downloaded 1,000 shows from there. That's a lot of shows. Now, you can go to prepperpodcast.com in order to listen to your latest shows. There's a little segment up there that says podcast. And then each of the hosts have their own page. And then, if that's not good enough, at the bottom of every single post, it says subscribe to iTunes. If you don't use iTunes, that's fine. You can also, see, I don't use like an iPad or anything. I have an MP3 player, and I subscribe to iTunes, and it goes into a directory on my hard drive, and then I just move the stuff over. I put my MP3 player in the computer, and I move it over to the MP3 player. Ta-da! It's done. I have the latest shows that I can listen to. So that's how you can listen to the latest shows. We do have the Prepper Podcast does have its own iTunes feed, and that's what you're getting, all the most recent shows. And you can get that if you subscribe on the bottom of every post. Just click on that. It'll take you to your iTunes or the iTunes page. Let's talk now about Zombiewary. Now I will play the Zombiewary ad.
It has come to our attention that we're coming to the second year anniversary of the announcement by the Centers for Disease Control warning of the coming zombie apocalypse. Therefore, I am declaring by executive order that the month of February shall forever be known as Zombuary. The Prepper Podcast Radio Network is giving away a Chiappa 22 caliber handgun provided by MKS Supply to some lucky winner. Now, according to the Zombie Survival Guide, it is the 22 that is the best weapon for the job of putting down the undead. Michelle, dear, would you see what's making all that noise?
Okay, honey. Whatever. Send a woman to do a man's job? Spineless. You're all spineless.
Quick! Lock the door! We don't know when. We don't know where. But we know it will happen. So be prepared by entering the Prepper Podcast Radio Network Gun Giveaway, which runs from Zombuary 1st to Zombuary 28th, 2013. Go to www.prepperpodcast.com for more information. That's www.prepperpodcast, prepperpodcast.com for more information. They're getting in. Protect me.
Pretty cool. And by the way, that really is not Barack Obama, and that really isn't Michelle. There are a couple pasty white people like me, but I'm fat. All right, so you can enter to win this Chiappa M422. Go to the website. Go to the Covert Prepper website and take a look at the gun there. It's a pretty gun. It goes bang, 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 bang. And it is exactly what those in Congress don't want you to have. A firearm. B, it looks like an assault weapon. I thought we weren't supposed to profile. It holds each clip, and it comes with 2 standard 28 rounds. Oh my God, it's expanded capacity. I don't know. I think those went 30, but you know, the more rounds the merrier, in my opinion. And let's see, it is mil spec, built to mil spec, so all your aftermarket parts should be able to fit right on there. Ooh, isn't that cool? So go to theprepperpodcast.com and enter to win. Or you can go to the Covert Prepper, go to the Zombuary is here, or Zombuary gun giveaway. At the very bottom, there's a terms and conditions link. You read it, and you click on that. You read the terms and conditions, scroll all the way down, and then there's a link to go to the giveaway, the entry page, and you just have to like 3 things. You need to like Chiappa USA, MKS Supply, because they're the ones who are providing the firearm. And then you can like the Prepper Podcast page. Now, that being said, if you've already liked the Prepper Podcast page, that's okay. Just like the other 2. Let's show them some love, shall we? And you enter the information in. You know, if you are over 21, you need to attest that you're 21. You've read the terms and conditions. We need your name. We need your email address. And I entered in a gun drawing. They wanted my home address. So I gave them somebody else's home address that I know. Jens, man, got your mail here. Yeah, I bet you do. So I don't sell this information out. Okay. Now, MKS did want it for marketing purposes, and I think you probably get like 1 or 2 a year. So that's going out there, and standard price for one of these with the red laser is $495. That's a sweet deal. You can win it for free. The drawing is, or the contest ends the 31st of March, and so April 1st it'll be announced, and you will not be getting an April Fool's joke from me. The next thing on the list is sequestration. Sequestration just does not roll off the tongue like you'd expect or hoped. So let's talk about that sequestration. There's a lot of panic going on. Too much panic, in fact. Unusually a lot of panic. Now, Mr. Obama had said, well, his Arnie, the Department of Education people said, he's the head of them, they said, oh, teachers getting pink slips. It wasn't true. Maxine Waters is saying 170 million jobs are going to be lost. No, that's not the case. So, I mean, and he was saying, well, you're looking at 3-hour wait at the airport. No, that's not the case either. And so a friend of mine was saying, well, gee, let's see, because sequestration is going to take place, there's going to be, the rivers are going to run backwards. He said that the sun will not rise the next morning. And what was the other one? Oh, Yellowstone Park is going to erupt because the because the Republicans didn't do anything. Well, funny little thing about that. All right, now he just signed the order yesterday. Let's see. You're going to love this little part here. The $85 billion cuts apply to the remainder of the 2013 fiscal year, which ends September. But the legislation that requires the spending reduction will continue slashing government spending by about $1 trillion more over a 10-year period, which is nothing. Nothing. He blamed the deadlock on Republicans, who he said refused to close tax loopholes that benefit the wealthy, adding the pain will be real for the American people. Okay. Let's keep going with that real quick, shall we? Now, I read this. He took to the podium and he said he did not mention the fact that sequester was his idea, nor did he mention his refusal to sign any replacement legislation. Blame was placed squarely upon the Republican members of Congress and their constant desire to protect the evil, greedy rich, as Mr. Obama put it. Let's be clear. None of this is necessary. It's happening because of a choice that Republicans in Congress have made. They've allowed these cuts to happen because they refuse to budge on closing a single wasteful loophole to help reduce the deficit. Okay, side note here. You allow people to take, an hour and a half smoke breaks of federal employees a day. An hour and a half. This has been reported on. You buy an ungodly, and I do mean ungodly, amount of ammunition that you don't need to buy. GSA, hello? Anybody? Okay, so don't blame the Republicans for something that your administration is responsible for. Back to the thing. Let's see here. We can responsibly lower the deficit without laying off workers or forcing parents to scramble for child care or slashing financial aid to college students. Okay, now. As usual, the press lapped it right up. Unsurprisingly, no one bothered to ask the president's blame game squares with his threat to veto any sequester replacement. And the audio is here.
Already, some in Congress are trying to undo these automatic spending cuts. My message to them is simple. No. I will veto any effort to get rid of those automatic spending cuts to domestic and defense spending. There will be no easy off-ramps on this one.
And why do I bring this up? Because it's fear-mongering. Fear. Let me tell you about fear. Fear is great. Fear is the best way to control a mass of people. You want a really good example? Riots. Another great example? Rounding people up. They will act like scared animals, and fear stops you from thinking. So as long as they can keep you afraid, then they have control over you. Now, you can be genuinely concerned. I'm genuinely concerned. Because my hours are going to be cut because we're attached to some of the things that Social Security Administration does. And this is how I got the information about the smoking and the audit that they failed. Because they told me. I sat down and chatted with a few of them, talked to them over the phone. So my hours will be cut. It's going to be a little tough at the Smith family, but that's okay. It's just the way things are. Now let me explain something about how this fear is going to work. Well, Skippy already started it. he started with the 3-hour